What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Bird Flock podcast. It is week 4 in the CFL. Your Montreal Alouettes are 2-0, coming off a big, I don't even know the score, big number to little number against the Hamilton Tiger Cats down in Hamilton. Shayne, like we spoke about last week, I wasn't able to make the game. I was at the Jays game, couldn't watch it. Obviously, you were texting me the live update, so I'm gonna throw it over to you for just your initial feedback of the game. I'll obviously chime in. I obviously watched the game afterwards, recorded, but just your live reaction to how the Owls played, the game in general, anything that stood out to you, anything like that.
Man, I don't want to hear like the narrative changed just so quickly about Hamilton, bro.
Yeah. When it's convenient, it's they played Winnipeg and they played Toronto and da 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 da. Oh, but now that Montreal beat them, Hamilton's a shit team.
Yeah,
Hamilton's a shit team,
dude. That's the thing I saw, and exactly what I said needed to happen for Montreal to win. Was keeping Matt Schultz in the pocket and not letting him run, and he didn't really run that much, and he took a lot of big
and
hits.
that's what I said. I said when you get that pressure up the middle and you force him outside, and you have JD ready to fucking light the kid up.
On the first play of the game, I thought he might have been down for a little bit. Like he got up and he was hurt, and JD absolutely put the boom on him, and it didn't stop afterwards. It was just like every second or third play, this guy was eating a hit, and it got to him with the 2 picks. Like the ball didn't come out when it was supposed to. 2 jumped routes, and one went for a pick 6, and the other one very well could have also gone for a pick
2
6.
almost identical picks too.
Yeah,
like 10 outs, dogs that were just picked off. Ball, like you said, ball came out really late. Wes obviously took it to the house. Ciante got caught up a little bit. I'm sure he got chirped a little bit for not housing that one, especially after Wes picked or housed his. But no, but on the offensive side of the ball, obviously Austin Mack, had another game, and he's just a player. Like I don't even know how else to say it.
He's here. He's arrived. You could have said it was a 1 week thing, but no, he proved it again. He backed up two first career touchdowns in the CFL. But the run game, I don't know what the hell's going on in that one. Like, why are we sitting here in the fourth quarter and the best running back in the CFL is 4 carries? Like, that's what I'm not understanding, especially in a blowout game. Mm-hmm. I'm not really understanding what's going on with that play calling, but we'll stick to the good for now. And that was just like you said, Austin Mack and even Kayon looked really good. And I think it was you that I texted, or you and Cam. I was like, Kayon can absolutely be a consistent 1,000-yard receiver in this league, year out.
The guy's just a dog. Like he's just him. He's just a dog. Yeah. But like I said, I didn't get to see too much of the game. The stat line for Stanback, obviously near the end, came together for us.
Dude, absolutely pulled through a little parlay.
Cash. For any of you guys who don't know, follow us on Instagram. First of all, you got the beat the books with the Bird Flock. We had, what did we have? We had Alouettes to win. We had
Alouettes money line, Stanback over 63.5, and Austin Mack over like 60.5 or something.
Yeah. And speaking of Instagram, guys, I say it every week. I'm going to say it again. Be sure to follow our boys over at Alouettes Central on Instagram. All your breaking news, anything Montreal Alouettes related, be sure to give them a follow. They're obviously, great friends of us, and they'll be at the game July 1st with us. We'll definitely have to do a little meetup, grab a little pic, and but anything, Alouettes related, go give them a follow on Instagram at Alouettes Central. And yeah, so Shayne, just back to the game quickly here. Some of your other thoughts on, maybe what didn't go well for the Owls before we jump into, a full breakdown of the game and whatnot.
Yeah, I guess just what stood out was the run game and the lack thereof, I guess, until, like we said, the fourth quarter. And he broke off 2 or 3 big runs in the fourth quarter that obviously hit that over for us. So why is that not happening in the first? But just again, the boys came ready to play with a chip on their shoulder, proving that this is not a rebuilding year, proving that they are once again top 2 team in the East. And I'm tired of slander still.
So we've seen the Ticats play 3 games now. look, I don't think they're a great team. I'm seeing power rankings where they're 9th or 8th. I think they're significantly better than the Elks. I think they're better than the Red Black. I don't know what you think, but I don't think they're a terrible team. Like, I think they're comparable to a Calgary, to even maybe a Saskatchewan.
Well, I think the 9 or 8 seed right now is just because Matthew Schultz is in and Bo Levi was put on the 6th game. I think that's what it is. But there's no like I think they're the 7 ahead of Ottawa and
As
the
of right
Elks.
now, you can't put them
Yeah,
anywhere else. You can't.
yeah.
But in terms of actual talent on the field, like we saw it in that first quarter, right? I think the Ticats had 200-yard receivers. Tim White put up 100 in the first quarter.
Tim White is very quickly making a name for himself in the best receiver in the CFL competition.
Very quickly. Very quickly.
Yeah.
Obviously, that has to do with maybe the poor performance or the poor offensive performance of the Edmonton Elks and more specifically Geno Lewis, who actually came out today and said like he's just like it's unacceptable, right? The performance of himself, of the offense. I don't know how much of the Elks game you watched, but obviously he had that big fumble at the goal line too. And I will never slander Geno. I loved what he did for Montreal. I loved everything he did for the city. He loved the city so much, but it's kind of nice that like we have a pass game too, especially. And like, but I feel for the guy. I feel for all of Edmonton. I feel for the fans. Like you and I, season ticket holders. Imagine 2 years worth of season tickets and we don't see a win.
Bro, like they're like quickly approaching almost 3 years. Like we're getting
With the COVID year, it's past 3 years.
yeah.
Like
I can't even imagine like wanting to like go to the game. Like just like
the stadium too. The stadium was very empty.
Even without being a season ticket holder, like how are you gonna sell a game to your fans when you haven't won in over 3 seasons?
No, you can't. You can't.
Like it just doesn't make sense. Like no matter what marketing you have, how good your marketing is, like it's just you can't. Like unless it's just like a absolute diehard fan, and he's just bringing like his family and like someone who doesn't care or whatever. Like that you could get away with, but like just an average like typical CFL fan or like Elks fan is not going to sit there and watch their team put up like 10 points.
That's it. Like the CFL
and then give up 40.
Yeah. The CFL has to be built on like guys our age. Now it has to be built on guys our age texting their group chat and saying like, yo, we should go to this game this weekend. Tickets are $20, whatever. Let's go. Let's have fun, whatever. That's what it has to be built on. But
I'm also not even saying that you have to really watch the game. You can go sit there and get absolutely pinned with your boys.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter. Just buy the tickets and go, boys.
100%. 100%. But on a football level, any other comments from the game Saturday in Hamilton or Friday? Just anything that stood out to you that you wanted to quickly talk about before we jump into kind of the league as a whole.
Cody looks real good, man.
That was my point.
Cody looks like he's getting back into his own here, and I know you talking to him. He said he had that chip on his shoulder. He said he was healthy and ready to go, and he definitely looks it, man. And like I still don't understand him carrying the ball on the short yardage plays. I'll never understand that, but he looks ready to go, and he's running the ball. He's moving in the pocket. Like even some of the throws he's getting rid of on the run, man. He looks good. And I'm really happy.
100%. Like I've seen tweets. I've seen, obviously you and I have spoken about it with Cam too. It's like flashes of 2019 Cody, right? When Cody was that MOP finalist, that MOP candidate, and doing what he does best, right? Not being afraid to get out of the pocket, but being a passer, because he's a very talented passer. And just covering all those bases. And we saw it this week, right? He was Pro Football Focus's #1 rated quarterback. He had a PFF grade of like 91 or something like that. I think that's the highest from a quarterback all year. And I know we're 3 weeks into the season and it's way too early to say this, but like Cody Fajardo looks like a top 3 quarterback this year. You have Collaros, obviously. Chad Kelly's played okay, I'll put them head to head, and then obviously VA is having a career year, but Cody Fajardo with the team around him, with the receivers that are here, that are coming back, with the defense that we have. If Cody Fajardo plays like a top 3 quarterback, and this will transition into kind of our discussion of the league, discussion of the Eastern Conference, but if Cody Fajardo plays like a top 3 quarterbacks, the Alouettes are without a doubt in my mind, bias aside, a Grey Cup contender.
Agreed.
100%. I don't know if you.
I think it's just an absolute lock at this point, barring any injuries on either side, that we're sitting here watching Toronto and Montreal again in the Eastern Finals.
It almost has to be, right? Like
I said, barring injuries, don't all come back at me if like Fajardo gets hurt or Chad Kelly gets hurt and everybody's like, "Oh, you said it." No, barring any injuries.
Who is Toronto's backup quarterback even do we even know that?
I don't even know.
But yeah, so transitioning into just the thought of the East, the Eastern Conference, it seems like a two-legged race or a two-horse race at this time. Obviously, the Owls 2-0, Argos 2-0. Would you, again, as Niles fan, I think I'll know your answer, but would you give the Argos an edge at this point in terms of performance, just based on the teams they've played, the teams they've beat, anything like that? Or do you think the Owls have a legitimate case to be the best team in the East right now?
I think I'm gonna give Toronto the benefit of the doubt based off the team. I know we're slandering people for saying this, but I'm gonna say it too, based on the teams that they've played.
Yeah.
I know they played Edmonton and Hamilton, but like they've been more explosive against both of them than Montreal was against Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm going to be like give them the benefit of the doubt on that one. Chad Kelly also looks really good, man. Like really, really good.
Swag Kelly.
Yeah. Like even like running the ball, man. This guy's just unstoppable running the ball. I think the first week he had like 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like he's electric with the ball in his hands, but it's not far. It's not a fall. Like I'm gonna sit here and say if Montreal beats Winnipeg this weekend,
I think if Montreal beats Winnipeg, I think Montreal jumps into top 3 in the in the power rankings.
Based on like if Montreal beats Winnipeg and Toronto, depending on how bad they lose to BC this week, I could see myself saying that Montreal is the team to beat in the East.
Yeah, I can totally get behind that.
Yeah.
So kind of jumping into this week, there will be a new player on the Montreal Alouettes sideline this weekend. A familiar face, though. To quote, who was it? Who it was? Sam Ellinger, right? At Texas when he went, "We're back."
Yeah.
That was just playing in my head the whole time. So the Alouettes re-sign the boy Reggie Stubblefield. Beyond fired up. Beyond fired up. Obviously, we had some words when, he didn't make the squad initially when he was released, not even put on the practice roster. We had the chance to speak with Reggie yesterday. Said it was a really quick process, right? He got the call from Danny Mack. He said, "We want you back in Montreal." He was on the next flight to Montreal, and he's already here. Arrived yesterday, practicing today. Got his new digits, 35. I'm sure he's going to be fighting for that 33 back. But no, I don't know if you have anything to say, but I'm beyond fired up.
I just have like one, and I know you probably don't have the answer, but it's more of like they listed him as a DB when he re-signed.
I know, I saw that.
Like, what is that? Is that mean something, or is that just because he was a DB when he first came here? Like, does that
like because you see those like when people get drafted and the announcers are like, "Oh, they announced him as a DB."
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But did we have any injuries this weekend? I don't think there was any.
Aside from Avery Williams at linebacker, but he came back.
But also we did lose Nafis, which I just remembered.
Yes. But still, I don't know. I think again, he's got to be listed as one. The versatility he's going to be probably taking reps at both of them.
100%. Yeah,
on the way the linebacker room looks right now and the scarcity that we have talked about in many weeks of lack of depth because of the lack of numbers. It's probably both at this point.
Yeah, agreed in that front. And if I had to make a crazy guess, I would say that J.R. Reed, who's currently the second Sam on our roster behind Najee, I think he'll move to DB more likely, and I think Reggie will play in the box and be Najee's backup, the backup Sam. That would be my guess. Like you saw in the preseason.
I think
Like,
it's also not crazy to say that uh, if a very, very big injury it does occur, it could very well be Najee going back and then Reggie stepping in.
100%, 100%. And that's not to say KB and Ento, who stepped in, didn't play well, right? He
Oh, he
played,
did.
played well. I thought he had a pick on the first play too,
Oh,
but but no, he played well. So that's not to say anything against that, but yeah, I could definitely see Najee stepping back into a more of a DB role and having Reggie step into that Sam spot. But he's going to be a force on special teams. Obviously, you have, like we spoke about last week, Brian Harlimana, who left. Obviously, leaves a huge gap in the special teams, which I wouldn't be surprised if was filled by Reggie. But I'm beyond fired up to have him back. Great week to come back to. Canada Day weekend, rocking the new threads, which we haven't even spoken about yet. Those are ridiculous.
fire.
So fire. There's some hate saying they're too red, they're too this, they're too that. I think they're perfect.
Saturday night in Montreal under the lights in those bad boys for the
Brand new
first
jersey.
time. Oh,
And even like down the road, right? Like when you have these jerseys and you can put the red top with the blue pants or the blue top with the red pants
yeah.
or white top, red pants, like these are some crazy
Fire.
combinations that you can start working with. No, I'm fired up.
And I think it was like I know they always had red jerseys growing up, but I think it was just like a matter of time to bring a red jersey
You
back.
had to.
Like
Yeah.
it's in their logo. Their logo's literally red.
It's not any other color. It's
Exactly.
just red. But no, honestly, I was fired up to hear when it was red. If it was gray, I was going to be kind of cheesed. I'd never liked.
I love those gray ones. I don't want to hear any slander, bro. I love those gray ones.
I did not like them at all. They looked like a Pee-wee jersey to me, like a Pee-wee football jersey. I did not like them at all. But the thing I like about the red ones is they're identical to our blue ones, just red. Like same design, same stripe, same all that. I love that. I love it's like a true alternate. Um, and yeah, that kind of brings us into July 1st, Canada Day here in the Nest, home game, like you said, under the lights, brand new jersey, Kids Day, $5 tickets for kids, $2 hot dogs. Can you ask for much more?
I don't think you can, buddy. I do not think you can. I think like the only thing that might affect the attendance is everybody that went away for like the long weekend, but you're still is that place is gonna be rocking, man.
It has to be. I especially starting out 2-0, like
It's gotta be rocking. And the way that like new ownership is coming and just giving everything that fans like asked for or
yep.
like wanted or like on their dream list, man. To start the season the way it has, especially looking back like 3 months ago when we were sitting here like panicking about everything.
Like, are we gonna have a team?
It's just got to be rocking. And if they get out to like an early lead or just start bumping or whatever, buddy, watch out. This team is going to keep their foot on the gas like they've shown, and they're ready to go.
I don't know if it's gonna be the usual suspect DJ Wordy Word in the building, the Alouettes in-house DJ, but he's got to keep that place bumping. Like bumping. Don't let it die out. Pre-game, there's got to be crazy hype. The Owls have one of the best walkout like intros in the league now. It's crazy, so sick. But I'm gonna answer my own question about what can make it better. What could make it better is if the Owls had an alley oop like easy layup game, like they were playing Edmonton or something. We're playing the best team of the last 10 years.
A dynasty.
The dynasty, probably one of the greatest dynasties in CFL history, on par with like the 2009, 2010, 11 Alouettes, like that level of dominance. So I don't remember the exact,
But if they win that game, buddy.
but if they win that game, the Alouettes are top 3 in the power rankings, undeniably. I don't think you can put them anywhere else. And the boys will be absolutely rocking, and just the momentum that you would get off of that is crazy in and of itself.
Who do they have after that?
I think they have Toronto right after that.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
No.
They have BC, then Toronto.
BC, then Toronto. But
If they come out of here,
Toronto, in Montreal.
yeah, on a Friday night. If they come out of here 2-1, that's a win.
100%.
That's
Oh,
a major win.
it's also no secret the Owls do not travel well to BC Place. So that's the one I would be like, please just like,
Sunday night. That's a
yeah,
Sunday nighter.
yeah. But no, so speaking of the Blue Bombers, I don't remember who it was. It's a CFL reporter. But he kind of hinted that the Blue Bombers dynasty might be a little bit over here and they're just getting a little old, right? Big Hill, Willie Jefferson, Caleros, a lot of the O line, a lot of the D line. What do you think about that? I can go first. That in that any Mike O'Shea led team, I think will be competitive. I think he's the best coach in the CFL, and I think it's not extremely a competitive race. I think he runs away with that. Just what he's done with this team and the what 5, 6, 7 years he's been there. But I do think they're getting old, and that's not to say they won't be competitive. That's not to say they won't be a playoff team. I just don't think you'll see them run through the CFL and go whatever it is, 15-3 or 14 and whatever that they have over the last few years. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think they're going to have big competition with BC out west. I think they'll lose a matchup to Calgary. They'll lose a matchup to Saskatchewan, maybe, but they'll lose a matchup to Saskatchewan. They'll lose some games out east. I think they were almost undefeated out east last year, minus like a game that Montreal beat them or something like that. So I think they will still be a playoff team. They're still a Grey Cup contender, but I don't think that they're the dominant force that they once were.
I definitely don't think they're the dominant force that they once were, but I definitely come playoff time, I'm not betting against them.
No.
Like especially out of the West. I get that BC's rocking right now and they're 3-0 and they look freaking good, but they haven't been there, man. And when the lights are brightest, that's when you're either a star to prove that you're a star, or you're a star and you just absolutely can't handle the pressure.
Yeah.
And Winnipeg's whole roster has been there year in, year out, 3 years in a row.
And they
And
had
BC has not even sniffed it yet.
no.
Coming out of the East, obviously, if it's Toronto, Grey Cup rematch, that's a battle I think that Toronto could probably be favored in.
Yeah.
If it's Montreal, it also goes back to the BC thing where they haven't been there before. So you gotta throw everything at them and pray to God that you can stick with them.
Yeah.
And not get scared of the lights.
100%. 100%. And then just for this matchup here specifically, we do it every week. I want to know from you, and then I'll give my answers as well. Just top 2, top 3 players, coaching decisions, lineup decisions, anything like that, position groups that you're most looking forward to watching and that you think will have the biggest impact on the game.
Well, shock to absolutely nobody. Get the run game going.
Yeah.
That's like, I'm going to keep saying it every week. If I have to say it for 20 weeks, I'm going to keep saying it. Like, get the run game going. I just don't understand. Like I said, best running back in the CFL. Obviously, in my opinion, and in Dawson's opinion too. But
Goddamn right.
get him going. I mean, and I don't even know what the hell happened with Walter Fletcher. I don't.
Yeah, so that's what I kind of wanted to mention as well.
I'm upset.
Right. Like, so we found out the assumption was, okay, Fletch has a nagging injury from camp. They want him fresh. But then reports are saying now that he's a healthy scratch.
Dude, don't get me started.
I don't get it.
That's my boy.
I really don't get it. Like, is there anything in your head that you can think of that? Obviously the ratio has everything to do with it, right? But there's got to be somewhere you can cut for Fletch. Like, especially when you see how, for lack of a better word, not dynamic the Owls run game has been and the Owls pass game out of the backfield has been. How do you not find a way to get this guy in your lineup?
Yeah, and I don't know. It's like even the way they were using the 2 running backs they had, it was like Antwi getting majority of the carries and then Stanbacks getting the passes.
which was weird as well. Like,
so weird.
I think, not to take anything away from Stanback, I think he'll be the first to tell you he'd rather the rock out of the backfield than catching it out of the backfield.
Yeah.
He'd rather take a handoff 100%.
Yeah. And I have absolutely, when I'm saying this, I have absolutely no problem with Antwi getting the touches that he's getting.
Oh,
absolutely not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I think it could have been like a 50-50, like passes to Antwi also and runs to Stanback also. Like, it didn't have to be Antwi's running the ball and Stanback's catching the ball.
And that's why I like Fletch so much too, because I think Antwi and Stanback are fairly similar running backs, right? They have similar builds, similar power back styles, whereas Fletch is just a elusive back, change of pace back. That's where I think he would bring so much value to the Owls offense. And again, get the fucking 3 fullbacks off the roster. Like, we don't need 3 fullbacks dressing every week.
No,
we don't. We don't. We really don't. I understand there's the whole designated Canadian and this and that and whatever. Make Jeshurun Antwi your designated Canadian and have Fletcher in the lineup. It doesn't make sense.
You can absolutely sit there and put Antwi and another running back on the field at the same time, without a doubt.
100%.
Like, it's not a problem. It's not a problem for any other team. So why is it a problem in Montreal?
And I'm not saying don't dress a fullback. Just dress 2. Most teams have 2 on their roster. And we're talking about dressing 3.
I think a lot of the problems go away when, like, Tyson Philpott's back, because that's another Canadian going on. But I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't get what's happening. That, like, you can't find one player to take off the roster for one game to put Walter Fletcher in.
That's it.
And now it probably doesn't help his case that they just put up 35 points or 38 points or whatever. But after where they put in 19, you'd probably be like, okay, they got to put Fletch in to be dynamic. Now they put up 38. I know one of them was a pick 6, so, like, we'll say 31.
And one of them was a punt return.
There you go. So you put up 24. You put up 5 more points than you did last week. So please, put Walter Fletcher in the damn game.
So jumping into my key point here. Obviously he's been one of the best backs in the league for a few years now, Brady Oliveira. Taking right over what Andrew Harris kind of established in Winnipeg. And my key, we haven't seen a run game like that. We haven't faced a run game like that yet this year. Obviously week 1, no shade at all. We didn't know who the Ottawa running back was, right? We were like, who the hell is that guy? And week 2 or week 3 against Hamilton, again, they didn't really establish any form of run game against us. And when it came down to it, they had to pass the ball because they were down 20 something. But I just want to see how the linebacking core handles the run game, especially if Avery Williams is not playing. Obviously, quarterback of that defense, middle linebacker.
He did come back, so that's a good sign.
He did come back. I just want to see how that injury progresses, and whatnot. But either way, whether he's in or not, just how we can handle that run game. Obviously, they have a great O-line. Brady Oliveira is a great running back, and they have the pass game that you absolutely have to respect. So just seeing how they handle that. Do you have a second point for us here that is a must watch?
I hate to say it.
Oh.
Bounce back from Ciante.
Yeah.
Need a bounce back from Ciante, and after he got that pick, he was back. He was good.
Yeah, you felt it.
But that first half before that pick, and to his credit, we said it before, Tim White is very much in the discussion for being the best receiver in the CFL right now.
Dog.
So we cannot take that away from Ciante also. But I don't know. It's just like he came out slow out of the gate, and maybe it was the thing that I had talked about last week, where it was the team that he played for last year or the last couple of years or whatever, and it's like back there he wants to try and do too much that caused him to for that to happen, but he did bounce back, and I think he's going to bounce back again this week. Week 1 was not a fluke by any means of what he did in week 1. It was not. We've seen that Ciante
this week.
We've seen that Ciante countless times in Montreal in past years, and countless times anywhere that he's been in past years. Like the week 1 was not a fluke. I think week 2 was more on the flukier side than week 1 was.
First half of week 1.
Yes.
Or a week.
No, first half of week 2.
Week 3. Yeah.
Week 3. Yeah. Whatever. Game 2.
Yeah. No, I agreed 100%. My second point, I don't know exactly how it works when you're put on the 6-game IR, because I think you can come back early. I think that's how it works. But my big thing for this week is I want to see who comes back. Right. I think it's time that we see some people back in the lineup, whether it's Ellington. I don't think it'll be Ellington, but or Philpott maybe if they can find a way to sneak him back in this week. I don't know how. I really don't know how the 6-game IR works. I don't know if you can completely cut it short or how that works, but really curious to see just how the lineup shapes up this week. Obviously, bringing Reggie back, I want to see where he fits in, where he's kind of getting dressed there. Just the roster moves that they make this week. Anyone moved up from the practice squad, any injuries that we didn't really know about last week that we'll have to address. Just the lineup in general. That's what I'm really most excited to see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also interested to see if Reggie gets on the roster, or if they wait another week.
Reggie's
I mean, I know he's on the roster,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, dressed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if he is dressed, what role he's gonna have?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like we also have to remember that it's not like he's coming in.
He does know the playbook, yeah.
Fresh, right? He knows the playbook. He was here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, very curious to see how that shapes up too. I don't think obviously he's not going to be thrust into a starting spot on defense or anything like that. It'll be a special teams role. It'll be, maybe second and long or whatever it is. Throw an extra back.
Got something to prove now.
The guy has a chip on his shoulder, right? We've had the pleasure of talking to him, getting to know him a lot. First of all, Montreal, you're getting a 10-on-10 human being. The guy is a great guy. But like you said, absolute chip on his shoulder. Just fits the mantra of the whole team, right? Cody said it at the beginning. I think I've referenced this in 18 fucking episodes. But Cody says, like, this whole team has a chip on their shoulder. They want to prove it's not a rebuilding year. And for Reggie to come in, slide right in with that chip on his shoulder equally. And it's a chip on his shoulder to his own coaches, to his team that he's on now, saying, I deserve to be here the whole time. And just knowing that the type of competitor he is, I'm sure that, we're going to see that in full effect come Saturday and come whenever he has, that more developed spot in the lineup.
Yeah, quickly, I'll just run through my third point.
Yeah.
The O-line, clean it up a bit more. It was definitely better, but Cody's still getting hit a lot, man.
Yeah. 100%. And I'll piggyback, and I didn't have a third one, so I'll just say the O-line too. How they come together. I will still stand by the fact that on paper, I think this is a top 3 O-line in the league. We haven't seen it come together for 4 full quarters yet. But one thing we do have to mention, and I can't believe we haven't mentioned this yet, the Montreal Alouettes defense through 8 quarters have not given up a touchdown. That is crazy.
Wild.
That is I think Paul Lapalisse said it on the TSM panel. He says, like, this is the best defense in the league. And again,
once again, I don't give a shit what offense they
play. I don't give a fuck who we played. We played a professional football team's offense. We played a professional football team with people who get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars and coaches who get paid, I don't know how much, but who get paid that much money to develop offenses, and the Alouettes have not given up a touchdown. I don't care who they played. I don't care. The Owls have the best defense in the CFL, point blank, period. It's the end of the episode. But it's not actually the end of the episode. But quickly, before we jump off, Shayner, give me your score prediction for Saturday, July 1st in Montreal.
24-22 on the last second. David Cote field goal to walk it off.
Dude, obviously McGill Stadium, not a dome, but that would blow the roof off of that place. The imaginable or the fake roof off that place would be absolutely blown off. I got 27-24 Montreal Alouettes. The Alouettes win it on a defensive stop.
Put up the threes, boys. 3-0.
3-0. Episode 22 of the Bird Flock podcast. Boys, as always, give us a follow on Instagram at the Bird Flock Pod, on Twitter. I don't know our Twitter handle. I think it's the same thing, at the Bird Flock Pod. And just blow this episode up. Again, we will be at the game against Winnipeg, Section J1, row 13. We will be there. Come say hi. We got a few people that said they're going to come say hi, so fired up to meet some of you guys. Shayne won't be there again, but Shayne will be making his in-arena debut on the 14th, I think it is. So we will see you guys there.